So, an early Kevin Bacon movie. Sure, this is where many get their score from, index, whatever the hell it is, since there's so many characters here, so many actors and actresses. Anyway, ultimately, though, yeah, I've certainly seen better, better satires, generally. Better sort of meta narratives as well. Because usually, this sort of thing has potential. I mean, there is potential. Not this though. This squandered it, and it had the most bizarre incidents, most bizarre outcomes. Like I'm just saying, right? Like I mean, it's not like a. I mean, all right. When it comes to though, the protagonist development or lack thereof, I don't know. Supposedly there was development because just had a change of heart early on, supposedly anyway, and just wanted to be whatever. Look, you just cannot get over it, though, right? Like I mean, if someone acts that much of an asshole, frankly, you just literally wanted him out of the car, I mean, that's the worst, like what kind of call, what could be so important? It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm frankly, he accepted him way too easily. That's one of the points that was just weak. I mean, what on earth? I mean, after all that, really? But it's not even the worst, right? The worst is how easily his former girlfriend accepted him again. I mean, come on. I mean, besides the likelihood that she would be totally free, like, yeah, he'd likely be free since everything else failed anyway. Um, but yeah, besides the unlikelihood that she would be free, I mean, everything is so improbable, so ridiculous. The whole premise is so ridiculous. Like I mean, just someone has to be seriously desperate. Anyway, I'm just saying to reconcile so easily, with a friendship or more of a relationship. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, you know. So that primarily thought ruined it. But aside from that, I mean, it was supposed to be some sort of comedy. Supposed to have had some comedy at least. Didn't quite. At the end, maybe when everyone was frantically calling him, there was sort of comedic. Not terribly either. I mean, this is like I mean, what was that? A single trip? I don't think that was like weeks or anything, right? So they seriously called him multiple times within the span of what a few hours. I don't know. Uh, that was also a ridiculous thing, though. Like, oh, so romantic, yeah. Straight after all that nonsense, and I don't know. Just it was the most bizarre. Um, I mean, frankly, I'm not surprised it only got. I can see here it got very little of its cost back, very little. So it got 100,000, I think, from what I noticed. Yeah, 100,000, 117,000, and it cost 5 million, which I can sort of see. I guess they did. Well, there were some props, I guess, but anyway. But I've certainly seen better metafiction at any rate. And when it comes to those skits, I mean, it's not like I'm sort of neutral on them. They're certainly not the worst aspect or anything. They're kind of entertaining. Some can be entertaining. Yeah, I mean, I guess the fact that they were referencing some others. It's on Rotten Tomatoes. It got such a high rating here. It's somewhat ridiculous, but only 24 reviews at any rate. But yeah, really though, well, I don't know what. To be honest, I don't know how it can even summarize presumably all the views into one sentence or whatever. But here it says laughter is the only option. I literally don't think I've laughed. Once maybe when the guy who kept saying he's his agent, despite never actually agreeing formally or anything. So presumably he just was hitching a ride per se. But ultimately, I mean, all right, it is a sort of satire. It's a very basic satire, and it's a ridiculous sort of thing. Isn't it? It does show the ridiculous nature of it. Like how at the beginning, everyone was just insane over him, but then just because there was some sort of, I mean, it makes sense in a lot of ways. I'm not sure if this is because the industry itself doesn't make sense, but. Like I mean, he was supposed to have, his movie couldn't continue because, the team he was working with was presumably laid off, but then somehow, without even saying why, how, or anything, that guy came back and apparently better than ever before somehow. So that's a great non-explanation there. At least those fires there that he could control with a controller were kind of comic, I guess, in this specific scenario. I don't know. I'm talking very low comedy here, but what drama there is. This is the thing. What drama there is so weak. I mean, it's so incredibly weak. I wouldn't mind if they just went on further in the comic aspects, because the drama was just nonsense. I mean, in reality, it just doesn't happen. Like you do that. I mean, personally, I would never just so easily say, yeah, all right, I wouldn't mind if we had a friendship again. Like straight after. I mean, okay, not straight after. It's implied that the years passed, but. It's still irrelevant. I mean, presumably that was the first time they talked again. I don't know. That's what that is also implied. I don't know. It's not very entertaining in a way, and it's unrealistic. Even though it's supposed to be based on realism, I don't think it's supposed to be. I don't know, like fantastic or anything. It just doesn't make sense. It's I mean. You wouldn't normally just after being practically kicked out of the car for some bizarre reason. It makes no sense. And so I don't know. This is what I mean though. When movies go out of their way to make everything just fine, just everyone is happy. Like, come on, really? Like, even in his apparent delusions, when those skits start, and I mean, those were more realistic, and they were supposed to be delusions. So this is how absurd this is. The movie is. They were more realistic, despite being delusions, than the supposed reality within the movie. I mean, how is that supposed to be reality? I mean, sure, I guess theoretically it's possible that someone directs a music video and suddenly he's propelled to fame and everyone wants to get in contact again. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous, but I guess that's sort of nonsense. I guess it's possible, possibly. But especially when it comes to his relationships, though, that happened before. I mean, so I mean, it's not like they were in response to the video. I don't think they saw the video and thought, might as well know this person again, so I get some, like in the cinematographer's case, a role again, It's ridiculous, and he didn't know he was going to get a role. I mean, apparently he got the role at the end, but he didn't know. So apart from that, I mean, that would have been, I guess, some sort of reason to um, sort of continue the friendship in the cinematographer's case. That's been one reason, as opposed to a real friendship, because clearly he doesn't really care about the friendship. Look, I'm just saying, Kevin Bacon in this movie. I mean, it's a fictional sort of thing, So sure. I mean, I'm not saying I have no idea what he's like in real life, but in this movie, he acted like an asshole, and somehow everything is fine at the end. That is. I'm not sure, honestly, if these people think, I mean, they must have such a basic idea of what is fulfilling within movies, But seeing, seeing this sort of conclusion isn't fulfilling. I'd rather he just drank himself uh, to until he blacked out, just like in his fantasies, while all bearded up. I'm not sure how he developed a beard so quickly, but anyway, I mean that would have been more realistic. And I mean, sure, he could have made a music video later, and I don't know. It's also absurd. And it's not like the music video was entertaining. I'm not saying it wasn't. For what it was, it was entertaining. So in a way, I can sort of see how he could have, gotten his sort of fame back. How he succeeded due to the music video. But the relationships, anyway, I'm just saying, especially, make no sense. They shouldn't have happened. Or at least they should have happened after, presumably. Because they make no sense. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know how this sort of stuff happens, but it just doesn't normally. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a lot of rambling, I guess, from me. But yeah, I in the end, it sort of destroyed the movie at any rate, And the fact that apparently they ended up killing some cats as well. Some cat, apparently, some actors' cat. I read, ended up. It's just. It's like fictional assholes on top of realistic assholes. I don't know. Just it's certainly not worth the death, for this movie. Just such a crap movie, honestly. What on earth? I give every movie a chance. It's not like I didn't go in open-minded or anything. I don't have any special opinion of the main actor or any other actors or actresses. So it's nothing to do with that. I have no idea who the director was. So I'm just basing this based on it's it keeps on going for longer than an hour and a half, and it's honestly it becomes boring. But more than boring, it's unrealistic and annoying, and it just is. The whole thing certainly had more promise. Now I have no idea why I'm rambling about a movie that is over 35 years old, I think now. But I've done so somehow. I've done so. So yeah, whatever. Anyway, so yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't saturate some aspects. I'm not sure if it's a satire or just plain. I don't know, just getting it wrong or something like at the beginning, when the person there, the announcer, I think they called him an NMC or something. I'm not sure if that's technically. I thought an NMC was just for music or something. I don't know. Or maybe not. Anyway, so yeah, and when he said that all these students, made these movies with no outside help, he did say that, didn't he? Which I mean, I'm not entirely sure how, because obviously you get everyone seemed to have at least the basic sort of people for the basic roles, like a cinematographer and such. But the most idiotic thing was how someone was even had access to a trust fund. Yeah, that's brilliant. Very much not being helped. Huh? But yeah, ultimately, this isn't really an thing movie. Like, it was in parts, but it wasn't really funny, and it didn't say much. And the supposed realistic aspects weren't really